Welcome to Welcome with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of First Kings, chapter 20, verse 42. And this is God speaking through a prophet. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. And I'm going to repeat that. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. There is nothing that is hid from God. He sees all, he hears all, and the scriptures constantly tell us that he is all-knowing. It also tells us that vengeance belongs to God. When people want to get revenge, it is almost always because it is a very personal thing, matter to them. But this is also why it belongs to God and not us. For he is the one who created both parties in the matter. Not only created the people involved, but he saw every detail that went down. And the scriptures tells us that he and he alone is only just and righteous in judgment. So if anybody is going to judge and place a judgment on anyone, it should be the creator of the people. Vengeance should be left to God, because he will do what is right in the sight of everybody. When we go to seek vengeance, we're only seeing from our side of the story. And sometimes when we go to do things in revenge, we end up acting and being no better and no different than the person who we seek revenge on. So not only is God, if you leave the vengeance to God, to make the justice right, but he is keeping us from being the very thing that we hate. See, a lot of times when people get revenge, they hate the thing or the person who has done them wrong. And if we hate it so much in our hearts because it causes so much pain, why would we want to become the very thing that makes us be in so much pain and has wronged us so much? So there's just more than several good reasons why we should not seek revenge, but get on our knees and pray to God and let him handle it. It's because his love for us. Man, how just when you disobey the first two commandments, how it is obeying. When you think about it, there are so many laws, over 600 of them in the Bible. But just simply obeying the first two commandments that Jesus spoke, you're obeying almost all 600 and some odd laws all at once. By loving God, we keep his commandments. We respect him, and we make sure that we obey his law and commandments. 2, when we love our neighbor as we love ourselves, that handles almost everything on the rest. I mean, you cannot, if you obey those two, there's no way that you cannot obey all the other laws. And see, so many people look at that number, man, there's so many things to remember. There's so many rules and so many this and that. And in all reality, all you have to do is just love God. And the rest just happens. You don't think of committing or breaking any of the other laws. For it breaks your heart to want to disobey God. It breaks your heart to go against what he says and what he's telling you how to act and what to do. It is very easily when you come to Christ to sin no more. There's too many people walking away from Christ because they just think that, oh, I'm just not a good listener. I don't obey. I'm not very good at handling laws. You know, I've always broke the rules. Honey, I feel you. I hear you. Let me explain something to you. My whole life, not one person, and this is no joke, no lie, did nobody ever tell me what to do. I've cursed out 4 3-star generals, one of each military branch. I told John Kerry, the senator, to, you know, I can't say no nice words to tell you what I told that guy. And there's some things I'm not very proud of that I said. I was like, you know, but I can't repeat those because that was back in the days and my mouth was, I mean, there wasn't a military man that could talk worse than my foul mouth. You know, not one person. You know, I grew up military. I was not around nothing but military soldiers my whole entire life. And then I was a bartender for years. So I did nothing but work in the bars for a very long time. So let me tell you, there ain't nothing that can surprise me, shock me, and could offend me. And but trust me, you know, if it was said, it probably came out of my mouth. I'm just saying. But couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I didn't answer to nobody. But funny how God worked, because the moment he called me, I ain't did nothing but obey. I live to obey for this guy. I live to follow the rules. And I broke every rule there was. And honey, the moment you told me not to do something, I'm going to do it 3 times. 1, because you should have never told me. 2, to prove to you that I can. And 3, just to make sure you got it the first 2 times. I mean, that was my, that's just my personality, is how I was. Because you couldn't tell me nothing. I didn't answer to nobody. Not even when the place that I work at, the bosses that I had, I did whatever it is that I wanted to do. Because I came in, I did my job that I was supposed to do. Because if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. Because it has my name on it. That's just one thing about me. I may have been crazy. It may have been all this and that. But everything I ever did, I'm very particular. I like to make sure that my things was done right. And I was going to do it the best. And whatever I was doing, I was going to be the best at it. It wasn't like I'm going to say I'm better than everybody. I just like to make sure that my stuff was legit, because my word, even though it was a foul mouth, I always kept my word. Never broke my promises. I'm a very loyal person. And I don't like bullcrap, and I don't like lying. And that's just one of the things, I mean, you wouldn't expect for somebody who talked worse than a sailor and played by her own rule book, but that's just how it was. I was never big on lying. I couldn't stand bullcrap, and I'll call you out. I was very blunt. And I did things my way. And because I got things done and got things done right, people just kind of let me do my thing. It just seemed to work out better. But, man, with that big of a attitude and personality, I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as I came back, God called me back to him. I didn't have no problem. All that attitude went right out the window. Everything he asked me to do, no problem. It was like I was saving up to make sure, you know what? I ain't going to obey nobody but God. And that's kind of how it ended up being. I didn't answer and didn't pay attention because God was saving me for himself. I'm just saying, if you're just one of those people who find it hard, that don't think that you could follow, I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. Yes, you can, because if I did it, then you can do it. And that is no joke. But when you love somebody, you should have no problem. Go to the ends of the earth. That's how I've always been, just a loyal person. When I love something, I do any and everything. And I love my God. And I would do any and everything for him. And you'll find it too. That if you find out how much you love him, you're just like, it's like